Hi there, and welcome back. This is part of my, spiritual path at the moment, in that my journal through the Thoth is helping me connect to the cards and understand them more. So, what we've done so far is we did do the Fool, and today I'm going on with the Magus, the Magician. And I think that most of that should be in screen for you. I hope so. Now, what I want to say is what I've discovered just in the two cards that I've been delving into in this Thoth deck. Yes, you can use it as a tool for divination, self-exploration. But part of that self-exploration is coming through loud and clear in the pages, and that this is quite a spiritual deck. This is meant to really focus the mind and work on bringing things like the Magician into balance and into harmony by our actions. Now, what did I discover about the cards so far? Well, the Magician to me is, first off, the communicator. And that is why I guess we have the wings of Mercury here. And it is truly, to watch someone who has the characteristics of a magician is to be impressed, because they have the gift of the gab. They have that skill of communicating what they're trying to achieve. They have confidence and clarity. It's like they are, similar to this, tapped into a higher energy. And with the rays in here that you see, they talked about that being thoughts. And to me, this fan here is connecting, yes, to the higher knowledge and allowing that fan to carry our ideas so that we can accomplish what we set out to do. There is a very tiny dove up here for the Holy Spirit. The snakes are very similar to the caduceus, but it was interesting to see in the writing that the snakes of life, there's a masculine and a feminine, which was really kind of neat. So that brings another set of balance in. There is the lemniscate here, but it is vertical. And sometimes, apparently, you do get the lemniscate, that sign for infinity and connection, happening in a way that it is appearing vertical. There's a couple other symbols that I'm not going to touch on here. I don't know enough about. This sort of like, to me, looks like scripture from above. And another arrow here. But I was really focusing on the fact that he's almost tight rope walking here. And these are the wires that support him, and those are his ideas. We still have the coin here for deeds, the fire element for will, the cup for emotions, and there seems to be some energy brewing there in the cup. And we have our sword for thought. The ape was really kind of interesting as I explored some of that idea. To me, it looks like the ape is actually cheering him on. And the golden color of the person, the magus, the magus, the magician, he really is the golden child in this card at this moment. But the ape to me was neat, because if you go back into what we studied with Darwin's theory and things like that, I think man has evolved, and the one thing that separates us is that fact of communication. Yes, the ape has his own form of communication, but it's the voice sometimes that allows us to, I guess, hit that higher peak. But we have evolved, and we are still evolving. So we develop, and it does talk about the ape being one of the Egyptian god symbols, and it talked about wisdom. The wings are pretty fantastic here. They're not the little ones that we sometimes see in some of the tarot cards. But for me, I was glad that they mentioned this space back here, because it talks about that space being a place for our thoughts and our ideas. And this magician, because he's walking this tight road here, he performs, and it's one foot in front of the other, and he is fearless. And I like the way that the elements dance all around him. It's like they are his tools, they are his toys, and that is where he's tapping into and bringing the balance in that he needs. What else can I say? It did talk about in a relationship, and I tried to explore some of that as well, in that this person would be very confident in a relationship. But sometimes for me, a little bit unbelievable because they're so over the top sometimes. There is that carefree. I guess if it was reversed, you could say he's showing off a little bit, and maybe he doesn't really have a grasp of all these tools. He's talkative, he's expressive. Communication is the way, and the way he draws you in. He's got the tools, yes, there, but it's the eye contact and the communication and the words. But when I really got into some of the pages and information, it was really about this being here who is in harmony, who is in balance, who is connected, and what surrounds him, and the balance between the spiritual world and the material world. So the spiritual can take in our thoughts, our ideas, our feelings, and the material can be very much the physical nature and our experiences, and a way to try to bring everything in harmony. We just can't live hour after hour in a spiritual nature. We still need our foods, our comforts, the liquid to survive. And although sometimes we think we're riding on a high and our ideas are carrying us, we still have to keep our feet on the ground. So I thought I might try this later on as a little experiment. Like if the center card represents harmony and balance and us being connected, I think it's what surrounds us then. And what surrounds us, is it a benefit or is it a burden? So I'm going to do that. I just wanted to mention a few more things. We have the staff of Hermes, representing also Mercury. And the Caucasus is very much about writing messages. It talks about commerce, negotiation. But they're still coming back to the two realms where balance is exchanged. So he takes his ideas, and through his confidence, he brings them into reality. Now, the symbol down here is Beth for house and communication, the spoken word, the written word, and the planet is Mercury. Now, if he was reversed, I get the feeling that he falls on his head, he's no longer in balance. Maybe he is still performing, but it might be more of like a circus act. We're not quite believing what he wants us to believe. His words are falling maybe a little bit flat. Maybe he's too in tune with himself and loves himself a little bit too much when it's reversed, and it comes across as strange, odd, and his ideas don't really hold any substance. So we're going to turn them back around this way. And I don't know whether I'm going to talk about the cards when I pull them, because that might be very personal, but I am going to use just a normal tarot deck. And this is the Magician, and it comes from the Hanson-Roberts, and I've cut it down. And you can see the infinity symbol going horizontally there. So I'm just going to pause the camera, place this now into the cards, shuffle, and my idea is just to pick one card on either side of the Magician and see if it can give me some information about the spiritual side that I'm working through right now, or, if we think of this as the collective, our thoughts, our ideas, our feelings. Are they in balance with the material, physical nature of us living and breathing and working in this world? And then I guess you could look at, are your ideas right now stagnant, or are they going somewhere? To be blessed with ideas is extraordinary. It's a gift. It's one of those things that gets us up in the morning. It's interesting that it's the number 1 in the deck, because sometimes the Magician can be the center of attention. He can be number 1. But there's a fine line between the art and the skill of what he has going here and the trickster. So there's the visionary versus the eccentric person. And they can come across as a bit of an oddity, but sometimes it takes those moments of inspiration to really put us all on a different path. So I'm just going to, now that I've been talking, I'm trying to put the energy into the cards. I'll spend another moment and I'll get back to you. Well, that's interesting. I ended up with the Magician right on the bottom, so I don't have another card over here, so I'm going to put this one here. So he represents our harmony, our balance, and our connection. And I'm just going to take her and put her there, and this one here. So I've got 3 cards. So, and these are the backs of them. And they're just sweet, but the cardstock is not good in these. So the smaller I made them, the better, because it became a little bit firmer, but still they're not perfect. And I did sort of indicate after I cut the borders off most what the individual cards are. And it is quite a sweet deck, and it's a great one to travel with. And it does have its color booklet to go with it. So, we're looking at something here that might be a little bit different for a lot of people if they don't have the Thoth. So here we go here. Oh, interesting that I put this one here, the material. That is the 9 of coins. That is very much the person who has enough. Like, she has worked hard to make her material realm work for her. She has money in the bank. She has property. She has a sense of security. That is a nice card. And over here, we have the 10 of Wands. So this can be the card of burdens sometimes. And I'll just refer to the book a little bit, because I think people would like to know what the book ideas are on it. So we have our spiritual, we have our material, and the spiritual, though, there are a lot of wands there, and wands to me are creative. Wow, so let's just pause for a second. I'll find the page. So here you can see that there are some color pictures in this little book, and it does talk about, and we'll have to figure out how this fits to our spirituality. If this was a reading for the group, you, the watcher out there, the 10 of rods, an old man is staggering under the weight of many burdens. And I think right now in our world, I think things are out of balance a little bit. There's so much struggle in the world, so much strife, so much conflict, that I think we're all feeling a little bit of the weight of the world upon us. Some of us are probably feeling a little burnt out, so how can we be connecting to our spirituality a bit more and allowing our thoughts and ideas to blossom? I guess releasing some of the burdens and disconnecting from the brutality some days that I'm seeing on the news. So if you're feeling a little burnt out, the pressure will ease soon, it says, because this is a 10 of Wands. And in the section of spirituality, I guess because if we can step away from the burdens of the world and find a little peace and quiet, then we can work away at some of these issues and find ourselves again and lighten up on some of these to feel that lightness that the magician has over here, the golden boy. So that went there. The magician in the middle is to bring harmony and balance through communication. And then the 9 of coins. So let me just find that one and we will continue. So in the book, it talks about the woman standing in a vineyard holding a rare bird. Wisdom, knowledge, and talent are present. And that's in our spiritual world. So we do have knowledge, we do have talent. We just got to figure out how to bring it all together in a peaceful manner, not in a burdensome sort of way. But she may not necessarily have love in her life, it suggests, and it may be a lonely time to be met with a measure of detachment. So sometimes detaching from all the possessions in order to find the balance. Success, recognition, and wealth will follow. And it doesn't have to be monetary all the time, does it? We need wealth and we need money to survive, but we have to be in balance spiritual-wise. So if I take 10 and 9, that's 19, and 1 is 20, that's the Judgment card, then I could take this spread in a whole new way again. But I'm going to leave that there for now. This is a little bit longer than I wanted to go, but I wanted to show you that the cards are definitely taking us on a different type of journey than just a tarot deck. Not that there's anything wrong with the tarot deck. I love my tarot decks. But this deck is asking us to go a little bit deeper, for sure. So everyone out there, I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you have your deck and you have insights you want to share, feel free. Thank you.